Hey everyone, it's time for another update. We've got lots of things going on this week. So I'm going to have to rely on Carlan for more of the details. Over to you, Vanna White.
You make so many jokes, the phone falls down. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so a little bit back up. New Year's was really tough. We tried to post a video, but YouTube wouldn't let us post it. It just refused. It just kept telling us we couldn't post it. So sorry about that, guys. We did make a video, but we had technical difficulties and YouTube didn't like our video. So anyway, what happened over Christmas and New Year's is brain swelling. Lots of things sort of went sideways. He went back on the dexamethasone on really, really high doses. What that created was more anxiety and panic attacks and other side effects. So then we did that and we thought we were doing pretty good. We had a really exciting beginning to our year because first of all, Stuart and Serena came and spent New Year's Eve with us. And then on January 7th and 8th, I guess we saw Scott's sister and brother-in-law from Regina. So that was wonderful. That was planned. And then as a surprise, his sister from Fort McLeod came and his sister from Texas, and he did not know they were coming. So it was a big surprise. So that was good. That was exciting. Now, prior to that, we had noticed like his memory was failing more and more often. So that we were recognizing we weren't even sure if he was taking his medication correctly. So we had to make some changes. Even those changes weren't working. So now I get to be the nurse and administer the medication. But today was a treatment day. Sorry.
Yeah, today was a treatment day, so I
it's hard to sit here. And today was strong. Like today, he was so strong that when my daughter came into her apartment in the basement, she could smell him. I could smell him when he just opened the front door. And someone else who drove him today also said, oh yeah, today it was there. So anyway, it was today's treatment day. So I might inhale on this side. But it hasn't been this bad actually in a while. Last week was super easy, almost no smell. But this time is a bit much. So anyway, we're seeing more and more things like that. He also started complaining about lots of pain in his back, some other like bladder things going on, and also his legs. His legs just are so heavy that some days he can't lift them, doesn't want to walk.
Yeah, not too far anyway.
Yeah, not very far. And so thankfully we were able to find both a walker and a wheelchair, because we did begin to notice, oh yeah, the balance issues are coming back. So we wanted to make sure that we were prepared for when that happened. And thankfully, yesterday, he did need them. He had an MRI yesterday. So we were actually super excited about this MRI. We were hoping this would show us lots of good news. And we were excited to see that swelling had gone down and maybe that tumors had shrunk. That's what we were hoping. So when we talked with, he's now been assigned to palliative care. So what's wonderful about palliative care, although that's not a good thing to begin with, because palliative means that it's sort of end of life. What's nice is the support comes to the home. So a counselor came to the home. We have access, our family has access that we can, so all of our kids and step kids all have access to grief counseling or preparation counseling, legacy counseling over the next little while. And so that's good. And they do come to the home and they also do it on Zoom. So we got lots of options with that. Yeah. Also, we were able to meet the nurse and the social worker. They also came to the home. So the nice thing is now we have 24/7 access by phone to a nurse or that palliative care, on call. And so if anything comes up, we have needs, instead of going to the ER, because they're not going to do anything for us there, we will call them and then they call the doctor. So very nicely, as soon as that got set up, the doctor came yesterday to our home, did a house call, and if needed, he will do them again. He may send his nurse. So it's kind of between the nurse and the doctor. It's one doctor for all of Southern Manitoba, like all the way to the Ontario border and the Kenora, even into into the Ontario area there. So he's got a lot of area, but he was super good.
Yes.
He did ask us about we had brought up some of these other issues, and he's like, I actually think that's something we need to be concerned about. So let's talk to Dr. Kakumanu, who is the brain radio oncologist so the neuro radio oncologist, I guess is the right way to say that, that did the brain radiation with him and who's been sort of the one medicating and following him up to this point. So we told him we were pretty excited. We had the MRI yesterday, and today we had the appointment with Dr. Kakumanu. Scott was not on that call, but I have all the notes here. It wasn't what we were expecting. So we're going to continue to manage the steroids the way he's going, and we're going to have to manage the brain swelling. But besides the brain swelling, there are 3 to 4 new spots in the already treated area. So in the areas of the brain, which is the cerebellum, and then also the top part of his head where there was a tumor before. In those treated areas, there's now 3 to 4 additional tumors. There's also a new tumor in part of the brain that was untreated. One of the tumors has already grown to just under 2 centimeters, 1.95, he was saying. So that's significant. Considering the treatment that he's on and the aggressive radiation they do not expect it to go this fast. But it is, so there are no other active plans. There's no other realistic treatment options. So Dr. Kakumanu is done for the most part. We will see him again in 6 weeks. I don't know what that will look like. But at this stage, there are no other options for anything. Surgery is not an option. Radiation, at this point, they would do whole brain radiation, which just causes a lot of brain damage and then more and more swelling. And considering we're still struggling with the last radiation and the fact that with very aggressive treatment, it's still reproducing and it's still growing. He said there's no point in doing that much brain damage. At this point, we just look at how do we manage the symptoms until the end. So there's been a few nighttime episodes that we've been concerned about. I've been worried about them being seizures, and initially the doctors at the emergency said, nope, nothing to worry about. No, I wouldn't worry about that. But Dr. Reimer was concerned about them, and Dr. Kakumanu was today too. So he has put him on anti-seizures or epileptic treatment starting today. So some of the other things that are happening is nothing tastes right. So which can happen with the dexamethasone. It can also happen with the brain. So he's on treatment that we're going to do inside his mouth. You've probably heard of thrush if you've ever had babies. So it's similar to that. So they're going to treat him with that pretty aggressively for the next while, just to see if that will help bring back his taste so he continues to eat. So he has a lot of it. It's a massive bottle, just saying.
Ugh.
And also some of the pains that he's getting. We're right now treating that with over-the-counter, some Voltaren and Tylenol. There's really nothing else he can take at this point, except for the Tylenol. Some of the things that we're looking for right now are seizures, more intense weakness, headaches, which he's getting, confusion, nausea, vomiting. Those are kind of things he was vomiting this morning. So we're just looking out for the same kind of stuff. We have been told he probably won't get more pain. He probably won't get yeah, so like it's probably just going to be more of the same, more tired, less eating, seizures, strokes potentially, until he gets to see Jesus. And so, yeah, so they're also going to try him on a different anti-anxiety medication that maybe doesn't make him quite as tired. So we don't have that one yet. We have the others here. We're also starting a medication that he's been given before, but that he didn't want to take because it can cause bleeding ulcers, and we don't want to add an additional strain on his body if he should get an ulcer. And that's from medication. It would be side effects from medication. So right now we're just like, what do things look like? How much longer does he have? So the answer to that is, from the time they find the first tumor in the brain, from the time there's one tumor in the brain, they usually say 3 to 6 months. We didn't find it at that stage. We didn't find it until 5 tumors, and they were very large. So that cuts into that 3 to 6 months. Then we had the surgery, and today is 3 months since surgery. So woohoo! We made it through. They initially told us it would be 1 to 3 months. So we officially beat that.
Cue the Rocky theme.
But that means that it's likely less than 3 months. We know that God is still in control. God decided the number of his days long ago.
And we'll keep walking by faith.
We keep walking by faith. We keep praying for healing. We are planning on going to Kelowna this weekend, Saturday,
Yay.
the 28th till February 4th. One of the goals of that is so that Scott can see more of his siblings and nieces and nephews and relatives in Calgary on our 5-hour layover. So he's really excited about that. He also really wants to see the Rockies. So we did pay extra money to have refundable tickets. Today, the doctor said that maybe we shouldn't go. He said, maybe wait, see if things settle, and then go next week. Unfortunately, I have respite for this week. And then he said, the only reason that I'd recommend that you go this week is if Scott's really looking forward to it, and if there are things there he wants to get done before he passes away. And so, Scott, are we going on a trip?
We're going on a trip.
We're going on a trip.
Part of the trip is also her best friend's birthday's coming up at the end of the month, and we want to be there to celebrate that.
We had our wedding at her house, and we might not make it.
We don't know.
To the anniversary. So we're hoping we do. Tomorrow is 11 months married.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. Mm-hmm. We may need to do something special, like go outside.
Outside.
I don't know what we'll do. But anyway, we have to do whatever Scott has energy for.
Well, one of the things we won't be doing, I don't know why, but when it came time to thinking about what would I like for Christmas, I tried coming up with a little bit of a list. At this point in my life, I don't really need anything, but for some reason, ice skates popped into my head, and Serena and Stuart bought me ice skates for Christmas, but I think I'm going to return them because I might need a whole lot more equipment to go with it.
Yeah, we have a hard time walking straight on dry ground, much less ice skates. So, yeah, it was a really good thought. It was hopeful. Yeah. It was a hopeful gift. Yeah. We're just not there yet. It wouldn't be safe for him to be on the ice. So today's lots of sadness.
Lots of tears.
Lots of tears. What we are so grateful for is that the treatments have been keeping away all of the other side effects that we could have been experiencing.
Yes.
Because with the burning of the brain, there's lots of things that could have gone on. But we are not experiencing those. So thank you to the Lord.
Yes.
For sure. And also to those of you who have helped us with the treatments, because we don't think we would have made it this long. The Oncotherm helps reduce the swelling in his brain. So we've made a change as of today. All of the treatments, all the Oncotherm treatments will now be on his brain, not on his lungs. The lungs are really secondary. He's not going to die of cancer in his lungs, most likely. That would be very rare at this point. He will die of what's happening in his brain. So we're going to be targeting all the Oncotherm and hyperthermia treatments to his brain. And we can't do Oncotherm on our trip. However, we do have a place to do some infusions, which what they do is they give him energy because he doesn't eat as much, and he's just generally he's not eating, he's not doing a lot of things that the rest of us would do that would keep us healthy. So it's like super infusing his body with vitamins and electrolytes and some other treatments that give him energy and basically help him fight, build up his immune system, and keep him as strong as possible. So some people have asked, so then why are you still doing treatments if he's going to die anyway? Well, first of all, we're all going to die. But really, we want to have, Scott and I want to have as much time with him healthy as possible. He wants to be able to have good conversations with the kids, the stepkids, the grandkids. Yeah. We are kind of focusing our time on family right now. Family and some of the closest people to us. So that's the reason we're still doing treatments, so that he can be as clear as possible, as long as possible. So one of the things that the doctor did say today is that there's going to be lots of ups and downs, but we also need to be prepared for very fast changes. And so we are doing what we can. So pray for us as we make decisions over the next few months, what this is going to look like for work, for what happens in our home, different responsibilities, being able to enjoy each other. And so we covet your prayers. And I just want to say, some of you have been so gracious with bringing food and gift cards, and well, we're kind of full on food. But, you know, I just want to say we have loved how much you've loved on us. This last week we got to go away to my cousin's cabin for a night, and just being able to see the birds. I know Scott did not have the ability to go out onto the deck even to look around. He was just really not doing well, and he didn't have a good night. But just to be in a different place and have that was really exciting. So, yeah, you guys have just all been blessing us. And so thank you.
Thank you.
And we love you.
And I used to take great pride in not taking any medications. Well, things have changed.
And suddenly I became the nurse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're learning, doing what we can.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Love you guys.
Love you.